Hi, my name is Barney and welcome to another video. Now when we talk about the CPUs, regardless if you are blue team or red team, at one point we have to talk about the multi-threading. What is this technology and how effective it is? And is it worth investing in it? This is what I will be discussing today. To put it simple, multi-threading technology allows us to schedule two different tasks for a single CPU core as long as the CPU and an operating system allows it. Fortunately, all modern operating systems do so, and luckily there are plenty of CPUs to choose from. But how effective is this technology? Is it worth the extra investment? These are the questions I will try to answer today. And to do so, I took my trusty Ryzen 7 1700 clocked at 3.6 GHz using 16 gigs of DDR4 3200. To gather our data, I have run three different benchmarks: Corona benchmark, V-Ray and Cinebench R15. Cinebench and V-Ray I've run 3 times, and just for a confirmation I also ran Corona 1 times. But I only gonna discuss the Cinebench R15 results, since it's point-based, it's more easy to digest for everyone including me. I did all the testing from 2 cores 2 threads up till 8 cores and 16 threads. While the Corona and the V-Ray benchmark charts are fading out, we can dive into the Cinebench results, starting from the lower end of the charts. Starting from the 2 core 2 thread variant from the bottom, we can see that the results are quite underwhelming. It is mostly because of using Windows 10, and in this case it is kind of a limiting factor. How do I know? Since I was testing this CPU multiple different occasions, I know that the single core performance is somewhere around 150 points. Just adding hyperthreading to this 2 core variant already gives us a 52% boost in performance. From here I will talk about the next 3 results together, because these are the choices that most budget PC builders have to face when deciding about their CPU. As you can see, there is about a 40% difference between the 2 core 4 thread and the 4 core 4 thread variants of the CPU, which could be the possible difference between the Athlon 200GE and the Ryzen 3 2200G. At the time of filming this, the Athlon 200GE costs $50 in the United States, while the 2200G is about 100 USD. So the question is 40% raw CPU performance justify the extra $50 spent? But also keep in mind that these two chips have 2 different graphics solutions included, which also adds some extra value to the equation. Just one tier higher, we can also see that the difference between 4 cores with or without hyperthreading is around 45%. This is still a more or less budget-oriented question, and for example I will bring the Ryzen 3 1200 and the Ryzen 5 1400, since I think these parts will drop even more in prices late 2019 when the 3rd generation of Ryzen CPUs will arrive. And I expect them to go out with good discounts or good bundles. At the time of filming, the 1200 costs about 95 USD, while the 1400 costs 135, which makes it a purely budget-oriented question, since they represent equally good value for the money. I also made a chart for the upper end of the CPUs, but I kinda thought it's pointless since AMD doesn't sell any CPUs without hyperthreading at this level. So instead, let's check how Intel does with its hyperthreading technology. The 2 comparable CPUs I have dealt with earlier was the i5 3470S and the i7 3770K. They are a few generations old now, but in general the i7 gives us at least 50% more performance. Is it worth the extra investment? Most probably not, since the 3470S can be found for around 40-50 USD. The 3770K still costs around 100-120. So is it worth the extra money? Only if you can find a 3770 for around 75 USD. Otherwise, it's not the best value for the money. In the 8th and the 9th generation, Intel has released some 6 core and 8 core parts with and without hyperthreading. So let's try to analyze them. Unfortunately, I currently do not own any of these CPUs, so I had to go for the Hardware Unbox YouTube channel and I had to steal some of their benchmark data. So I have made my own charts, and there are two things to take a notice here. First, that Intel's hyper-threading seems to be slightly less effective than AMD's simultaneous multi-threading, but also keep in mind that these CPUs at stocks, they have different clock speeds. Also, the 8-core 8-thread 9700K seems to outperform the 6-core 12-thread 8700K. But also keep in mind there are one generation difference between these processors. And the 9700K also has a slightly higher clock speed. So the question remains, is it worth it? The current pricing of the 8600K is about 260 USD, while the 8700K is about 350, which makes the second one a slightly better choice in terms of value for money. In case of the 9th generation processors, the 9900K offers a little bit better value for the money than the 9700K. So, conclusion time. Multi-threading technologies offer about 40% extra performance in average. Is it worth the extra money? It completely depends on the individual parts price. As a general advice, I can only say that look for the best price to performance ratio within your budget. As for me, that was all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for Hardware Unbox for the benchmark data. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the multi-threading technology. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share this video, and I see you all guys in the next one.